Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend just a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings card game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride.
And I'm Ted Bannock, and I think it's going to be a great episode because we have a great cause for it to be a great episode. Something, I think we all share something in common, and that's what really brings forth the great shows. That's it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Okay, I think we've got something in common, and that was absolutely butchered.
It's going to be a great episode, though, so I'm excited.
It will be, yeah. So before we talk about a mystery card that nobody knows what it's coming, let's talk about how people can keep in contact with us or intake Card Talk here. We have kind of the backbone of what we do here is the podcast. You can catch us on all the podcast catchers or players out there. And we also have a YouTube channel where we post all our videos so you can see the cards and see Grant. Grant's here live, everybody. Yay, there he is waving at us. And we can also, so that's over on YouTube. Also on YouTube, we have Micah's playthrough every couple of weeks. He puts out a second breakfast, which is him playing through a scenario with some deck building restrictions. And so that's over there. That's a lot of fun. And I just have finished up my campaign, my Angmar Awaken campaign. So that's something that you can catch being released every Monday until that is done. And then we also have the blog. We saved the best for last around here. And so we have the blog. We have Matt, Cat Attack 22, doing yeoman's work over at the blog, reviewing the card pool one card at a time. And so it's good stuff. Plus we have a Patreon, patreon.com/cardtalk2018. And if you want to catch our swag this year, maybe become a patron and we'll send some out to you. So that's more details on that as they become available.
If we get enough funding, we may launch a operation to find the first 1 through 21 cat attacks. And
that's like preparation A through J.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can maybe get all the cat attacks, 1 through 22 together.
A through G, sorry.
And, we'll teach them all how to play Lord of the Rings, and we'll have a big Dreadnought game.
Yeah, a big Dreadnought game, or a 9 or a Broad, or a...
Yeah.
We could play Epic multiplayer or something. Okay.
We can hope.
You know what all those people have in common? Their name. So, Grant, Grant, take us into the card, please.
I'm going to take us somewhere.
Yeah. This is why all three of us don't get together very often to do this.
So, I'm going to give everybody a common cause here. Turn off now. This is the corset event that has an action. Exhaust one hero you control. Choose and ready a different hero.
Okay.
There you have it.
Grant, what do you think?
Very situational, and if I've used it, it's only been once or twice.
Ted?
Well, common cause is interesting. It's ready at any other hero, correct? Or is it just hero you control?
Well,
yeah.
Ready a different hero.
Ready a different hero. So that's really the card's strength, is that you can give somebody else an action if they need it. it can be really helpful, if you get like an extra attack made against you during the combat phase, because then you can say, oh no, I'm getting attacked again, via like a shadow card effect that I wasn't planning on. I can now exhaust my attacker, like say Legolas, to ready someone who's much better at defending, like Baragond, or someone who's built to defend. So it can kind of help you plan for those surprises. And yeah, it has that strength of readying another hero. So I'd say the value goes up in multiplayer because then you have more applications. Because people, they get enemies they don't necessarily plan on. And you can say, well, let me lend you an action at the cost of playing this card. And it gets a little stronger too if you have heroes that can innately ready. It's kind of a neat little trick. I really like to play this card with Tactics Boromir because he can innately ready. He can once per phase raise your threat to ready himself. So you can kind of transfer his ability. You pay your threat to ready Boromir, and then you exhaust him to just ready another hero. So that I find to be probably the most useful and fun application of this card. Combo.
I remember when I first started playing, I used to do common cause with Beravol, but since Baravol's now been limited to once per round, kind of took that luster away.
Yeah.
The infinite draw engine that was Beravol.
Well, even just in the core set, Ted, you hit on it a little bit, and it's your contention that defense is probably the best thing. So in Sphere is... Oh, wait, no. I was thinking Denethor. Lord Denethor is not in Sphere with leadership, common cause. But
no.
But I'm also thinking, so I'll scratch that, but I'm also thinking about cards that you may want to hold back and not get a chance to use. So like if Eleanor, who you want to use to see if you can cancel a shadow effect, and you're like, oh, got an enemy or two. No, not a shadow effect, a when revealed, and you didn't get a treachery. Well, now Eleanor, not to say she's useless, but it would be better to have an Aragorn, a Baragond, somebody ready, because it's just, so, but I agree, Grant, it's situational, but I think, again, Ted, you said that I think as you're playing more multiplayer, it's just, as the targets increase, it's just a better option. One super niche case is that, like, Tactics Bilbo, who targets an enemy in the staging area. If there's no enemy in the staging area, Bilbo is not necessarily somebody that has a lot of hit points, so you hold him back, and you're not going to quest with him, so you could use him. You could use Common Cause to do stuff with his action. So, it's an option, but I don't see anybody out there building their Common Cause deck for sure. Grant?
I was actually thinking Spirit Merry. You hold them back because of the fact that you want to use his ability to lower your threat. There's no enemy comes out. You can Common Cause one of your questers that may have more attack power, ready for combat.
Yeah,
right.
It's you look at it, it kind of seems a little lackluster. Like, oh, I have to exhaust a hero to ready a different one. Like, why would I do that? But you'll find that if you have it in your hand, and especially with some of the heroes that you guys both mentioned, it kind of, it's one of those cards, one of those little hidden cards that kind of surprise you. We're like, oh, it's actually really useful, like at odd points in the game.
Right. And the funny thing is that the ready isn't the thing that you're looking at. At least when I'm analyzing that, I'm not looking at, like, there's any number of heroes that I would love to ready. I'm looking at the cost. Like, who is going to be around that I would feel comfortable exhausting? Like, that's what, And there's not very many of those heroes that you're like, well, and we listed a couple, but it's not.
There's a few cases,
right? But there's not a
not
ton,
many,
right?
Yeah.
So that's always crazy. So I don't know. I'm not in love with this card, nor am I necessarily in love with the artwork on the card. But I mean, I like it enough. It's obviously, Gimli and Legolas with brown hair and not blonde hair, which is a source of contention around the LOTR community. But it's not like super detailed. It looks like they're fighting on a cliff face or something. There's some birds in the background, or maybe, I don't know. But it's kind of a strange piece of art. I don't love it. So, Grant?
Yeah, I'm not totally sold on the art. I mean, it's okay for getting into the card pool. It's one of the middle of the road ones for me, in all honesty. Neither good nor bad.
Yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah.
It's neat. It's like, okay. Not overly inspiring, but
right. Well, anytime Gimli and Legolas are fighting together, that's kind of just inspiring by it, but the art doesn't inspire the I don't know. It's just not so good. The best part of that art is the bow, is Legolas's bow, in my opinion. But so, should we ring this guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, not a ton to say about this card. So, for any
event, there's not usually much to say about them. They do what they said on the tin.
Right. So for anybody who doesn't know or may have forgotten, we have a highly scientific yet arbitrary system where we ring a card on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is the one card to rule them all, or one of the best cards in the game, and a 10 is a card that we throw back into the fiery chasm from whence it was made, or not a very good card in the game. So I think, Ted, you went first last time, so I'm gonna go first this time, and I'm gonna say, the core set is known for cards that have stood the test of time. Even especially in leadership, Celebrian Stone, Steward of Gondor, Faramir. There's Sneak Attack, and outside of leadership, there's a whole bunch of other cards. But this card is decent in the core set, but it just drops off in usefulness after that. You start developing a bigger card pool. You get a couple of the starter decks, and none of those are going to have common cause in it, or have a need to have common cause in it. So I'm going to give this card an 8, because it has a place, but it just quickly gets pushed out of where you need it to be. Grant?
I agree with everything you said, and there is a lot more versatile readying where you don't have to exhaust a hero. And I'm going to say 8 rings as well.
Okay, Ted, save us from our delirium.
Well, I'm going to give it a 6 because it's, like I said, it surprises you. And, sometimes you have heroes, there's a lot of actually heroes that ready themselves. I mentioned Tactics Boromir, but you also have in Sphere of Leadership Aragorn, you have Leadership Imrahil, and sometimes those characters end up ready, but not quite at the right time, or the situation changes where it's more advantageous for another player on the table to have it ready. And those moments kind of surprise you, they kind of shock you when they come up. So that's why it's can be kind of fun to throw 1 or 2 of these in, and with those heroes, and see when those situations arise and how useful it can be.
Okie doke. Well, there you have it. Ted absolutely loves this card. He's going to be wearing his Common Cause T-shirt.
Heck yeah!
At the next con. Next time
We're
I
all
see
on
him.
the same team. That's what this card is saying. Okay, us versus bad guys.
Yeah, and I'm going to have my anti-Common Cause shirt.
Uncommon cause.
Uncommon cause.
Rare cause?
Common non-cause. I don't know.
I'm going to have my comic T-shirt with this.
Yeah. You'll just have your Grimbeer in the old shirt saying, oh, look, I can ready without... or I can attack back and I don't even need to ready. So, anyways, everybody. Join us again next week as we talk about more cards from the game. Have a great day, everybody.
Do you love the content? Here's what you can do to stay connected. Become a patron. The money collected through Patreon goes into keeping the lights on here at the podcast. We love our patrons, and you can join at many different levels. Visit patreon.com/cardtalk2018. You can subscribe to us, whether you're watching our YouTube channel or you're listening to us in your favorite podcatcher. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of all our new episodes. Didn't know we were an audio podcast? Find us by searching Card Talk to get access to our 120 plus regular episodes. Didn't know we were a video channel? Find us by searching Card Talk LOTR LCG on YouTube. And there you can find not only our regular episodes, but you can find our bonus playthroughs and other content related to the game. Want to get a hold of Ted, Grant, or myself? Feel free to email the podcast at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.